All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how Esau is going to start realizing that he's not as important as he thinks he is, right? Because when they went about trying to do all this whole tariffs thing, right, they was thinking, oh, we're going to put these tariffs in place and all these people are going to come bending the knee towards us, and that's not what's took place, right? Because and here's the thing, like this thing that you can see on the screen is a document that I found, and some information in this document. And this document's got, you can see the page number, right here, 774, right? So it's letting you know how much information is on this document, man, right? And it's got a couple hundred more pages almost than that number right there, right? So they already understood the things that China are capable of, right? Because this is information that they put in there themselves, that Edomites put together based on how China already is in charge of certain markets and can control the current markets, right? And then they understood that China's also, and Moab, which is China, right, are able to also win in the new markets. Yet they still decided, knowing this information, to put tariffs on these countries, showing that Esau's wickedness always deceives him, right? His wickedness always deceives him. And like, I'm gonna just scroll. Like people can take pictures or screenshots of this or whatever, right? And I'm not really gonna read much of it, but I just want to show this here, where it says capture emerging high-tech industries that drive future growth and advancements in the defense industry, right? So they already understand that China's kind of got it going on in terms of the whole military thing, because that's what Esau likes to call defense, offense, right? Then they've got a headline here: dominate traditional manufacturing industries, which China does that, and you can see everywhere they got these ticks that they're like, okay, through this thing that they're able to do, they're able to dominate certain markets, man. Here's I mean, the current way how things are done and things are built. Here's another one. Another headline I got: expand China's share of global markets, right? So let me just scroll across, man, and you're gonna just see how just look at that one there on the right, where it's got all them ticks, and then look at the one where it says the expand China's share of global markets, and I'm just gonna scroll across, and you can see how they got all these ticks, acknowledging that they can do all of these things, right? They're acknowledging that China can expand and that they can defend, right? They're acknowledging they can expand and defend again, right? Same thing again. Same thing again. Okay, not in this one, but they are acknowledging that they can capture the new markets in this, with the things that they're saying that they can do, that they understand that China can do here, right? That Moab can do, and then here and here as well, right? And I'm not even going to really go into depth in this, right? But I might share a post of this thing right here to show that Esau knew that Moab's able to do all of these things, and still, through the pride of his heart, decided to try and go after them. Because I'm in this video using this as a point on us, the Israelites, man. Because Esau knows damn well, right, for certain, he knows 100% for a fact that we are really the Israelites, because he knows that he ain't. He knows that we're the Israelites, yet he still chose, right, with his wicked self, to try and put us in captivity, right? And then not only that, he didn't want to release us, and he's still running his mouth now about us, man. They're still not happy. Even still, now that they did all this, they're still running their mouth. They're still just like, you know what, now I'm gonna do a bit more. I'm gonna do them even grimier than this. They just never was able to just be like, you know what, I think we've did enough. Let's leave them alone. They just couldn't ever stop, man. They never stopped. They never stopped trying to disturb us, man. They always just kept going one step further each and every time, right? And it's going to end up going bad for them. But before it goes bad for them concerning us, it's going to go bad for them concerning these countries. And I was just watching something else, right, on how this guy was going into how a lot of people in China They like barbecue, like American style barbecue food, right? And in the past, they used to get a lot of their beef and stuff like that from America, right? But then because of the tariffs, the price of their beef from America has ended up going up way too high. So then now China was like, okay, so where are we going to get the beef from now? And they decided to get it from Australia. So then now they've been able to realize, okay, we didn't even need America to sustain this particular thing of ours anyway. We didn't need them. We found another person to buy this particular thing from us. Whereas America needs the other countries to come to China. So China's able to suffice itself without America in terms of like having certain things, but these other nations are still greedy themselves. And according to prophecy, Revelation 18, we know that these nations are going to mourn about the wealth that they end up losing when Babylon the Great, which is America, gets destroyed. So there's still a hell of a lot of loss of money that they wish that they had from America, but yet they don't need America to sustain themselves, really. It's a greed thing a lot of the time with these other nations, man. Because America's a big way of how they've been able to build up themselves to where they are now. Yet they can still suffice themselves without America, but they get a lot of the, if you want to say, abundance that they might have of things that extra. They like, well, who's gonna take all these extra things that we got and all these things that we make and that we built our industry off? Well, who's gonna take a lot of these things from? And it's normally always America. So America needs them to bring all these things and all these items, but they don't really need America that much, right? Whereas America thought that there was a bigger of a deal in the world than they actually are. Just like how Esau in general, he thinks that he's way more of a big deal than he is. They're really not nothing as special as they think they are, man. A lot of these Edomites, they really think in their mind that so-called black people are lucky. You're lucky that we released you from slavery, because if we chose to not free the slaves, you would still be in slavery. Now they actually really believe that. They actually really think that we would have just stayed in there and would still be picking cotton now. They actually really believe that that's how it would have went for them. Rather than it's that they're better off tried to start easing up. Otherwise, it would have went bad for them. But they actually think that we're in a position where they're just going to always have power over us, and it's not going to go that way. Now, let me get into the scriptures 1 second. All right, so when you go to Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 11, it says this. In fact, verse 10, because that was said, these 2 nations and 2 countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. Whereas Yahweh was there, and that's what they think. They're like, okay, we released you from slavery, but you're still ours, though. We still own you. And you better just sing and dance for me, boy. And if you're not doing that, to hell with you. And I just only want the sing and dancing Israelite. I don't want the ones that have got self-respect for themselves in any other way. I don't want one that's going to be a construction worker and for one to run his own construction thing and want to change the way our buildings get made and say to hell with the regulations that we've made and start changing the whole thing round and start realizing that the way how I did it, I'm really cutting corners and everything that I'm doing. I don't want people that are trying to figure out the medical industry and learn the medical industry and become doctors and all these things and start realizing that a lot of the things that I'm pushing out ain't really what it is and ain't the best for people's health, really. I don't want them to do all that. I don't want them to figure out the clothing industry is corrupt and that a lot of the clothing that we say is expensive like this, really, you could get a higher quality clothes for way less money. I don't want them to realize that the restaurant industry and all of these different industries are actually corrupt how they do it and could flow a lot better, which in the kingdom of heaven, when we're in charge, it's gonna go like that. He that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? And he that is honorable in poverty, how much more in riches? And we've been honorable more so than the whole rest of the world in our poverty state. All you other nations complaining and crying about how the world ain't this and the world ain't that. Well, you never went through the Atlantic slave trade. You haven't had that as part of your history, as something that you're told to get over. So you can't get over that you might be walking on the street and a so-called black man's got an attractive woman of your nation. Get over it, man. Because when we're walking on the street, we have to see you Edomites with an attractive woman from our nation sometime. And then not only that, the women from our nation are so proud and such demons that they're going to go and even go further and start chatting shit. But we've been made to have to get told to get over that. We've been told to get over slavery. We're never going to get revenge. We're never going to get justice. Get over it. And also on top of that, you're not getting no reparations. Get over it. In fact, we gave you a reparation when we gave you some benefit money. Get over it, man. Get a job, N-word, get a job, N-word. Then when the N-word that you think's an N-word gets a job, and the job just so happens to be better than yours, they're stealing our jobs. We can't get by. Immigration's over, and it's immigration's coming over, and they're taking all our jobs. But I thought you told them to get a job, though. Now that they got the job that you wanted, now it's a problem, huh? So do you want them to have a job, or do you not want them to have a job? Do you really believe all that merit-based stuff that you're talking about? Or do you believe in, I want a job, and I don't care how I get it, yeah? And that's how you really deal, man. Is that what you're really on? And we already know the answer. Verse 11, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. The real reason why you Edomites are going to do everything you're going to do is because you're envious. It's not because we're black, right? It's not because we're black. It's not because we're aggressive. It's not because we've got low IQs and all of these things that you want to say, all right? And all you people that talk all that IQ stuff and want to say all these IQ, most of you haven't even took an IQ test. So stop the cap. Yeah, stop running your mouth about IQ things because you never even took an IQ test. You've never took one. You just assume your IQ's going to be high because your skin's red. But then if your IQ's really as high as you think it is, you people wouldn't believe that we're black because you'll be able to see with your high IQ eyes that our skin's brown, dummy. And you'll be able to see with your high IQ eyes that your skin's red and pink, not white like you claim. You'd be able to read the Bible and see clearly, without even the need for no spiritual insight, that the new covenant is written in the Bible as being for the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not everyone. So therefore, salvation cannot be for everyone because the covenant is clearly not for everyone. And who the covenant's for is for who the salvation is. If the covenant's not for you, then salvation ain't for you either. Simple as that. But ask these Christians, they all of a sudden can't understand words when it comes to them kind of things. But anywhere else, they think that they're such a smarty pants. But when it comes to salvation, I can't perceive that. I can't make you, because you're demons, that's why. That's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of things, man. That y'all are demons out here. There ain't no nice way to say it. Y'all are just wicked as hell. Simple as that, man. Wicked, dirty heathens, man. Wicked, dirty, stinking heathens. Verse 12. And thou shalt, in fact, verse 11, the last bit. Thine envy which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. So after you Edomites start getting judged, which it's happening now. You're trying to run around thinking, okay, China's good in this category, and this category. They run this, they run that. But after we put some tariffs on them, they'll fold. Don't worry, they'll fold. No, they didn't. No, they didn't fold. And then Moabites, they ain't gonna get it neither. It's not, the kingdom's not theirs neither, man. You can't have, let me get a scripture, man. You can't have the kingdom while being a wicked demon, right? And they can't get the kingdom neither because they'd be eating lizards too much. You're not allowed to eat lizards and have the kingdom, right? That's part of being wicked. You're not allowed to eat rattlesnake and be running the kingdom, man. Nah, there's rules to ruling. And eating abominations is not one of the part of the rules, mate. You can't eat that weird squid liquid. I don't even know what the hell it's called, man. Some weird, like, looks like a damn men's genitalia, man. Some weird squishy thing that the women, and it scoots out water from there and that. And they be eating that on them weird ass food shows and that on the YouTube and that. You can't eat that and then be trying to be talking about you're gonna be next. Nah, you can't, mate. That would mean even that kingdom would fall. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, Esau does that. Injuries, Esau does that. And riches got by deceit, they damn sure do that. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. So you was never going to be able to rule anyway. But here's what we can say to you. Okay, stop doing unrighteous dealings Stop doing injuries and stop getting your riches by deceit, and then the kingdom's gonna stay yours, right? And I'm so confident that I can give you the answers to make your kingdom last forever, and you're still not gonna be able to do it because you're so wicked. You'd know the right answers, yeah, and still do the wicked thing anyway. That's how y'all have always been. You've always known what the right way to do is. We had the same start as a nation as you did. You're Edomites, we're Israelites. We had the same forefathers, man. Isaac's your forefather. Isaac's our forefather. Abraham's your forefather. Abraham's our forefather as well. We have the literal same nationality. I mean, same descendancy, minus some of us come from Jacob, which is one whole different nation, and the rest of you come from Esau. Yet, why can't you Edomites get it then? When we didn't have no different beginning than you. It's because it's a spiritual thing, man. Y'all are not made for this. But in an earthly sense, that which is what you Edomites believe in, you should be able to technically still stay in charge, right? Forever. But why does it seem like your kingdom's falling down? Why are you scared to admit the truth? You're not going to be able to rule forever. It's not going to happen. And the same way how you tried it with China and you found out you're not as important as you think you are, the day is going to come when you're going to try it with us in Jacob's trouble. And it's going to seem as though, man, what was we worried about? Man, if I knew we was going to be able to take these Israelites out this easily, we would have did it 100 years ago. You're going to think that in your mind. But it's going to go bad, though. You're going to think, okay, we're going to wipe them out. No, you're not going to. It's going to start changing over, and it's going to start reversing. Because Yahweh's going to charge us up, man. Because we ain't going to have to hold back anymore. And Yahweh's not going to hold us back anymore neither. The more that you Edomites destroy this society, the more everyone's going to be real in regards to how they feel about you. Because the only reason why people have been holding back on what they really think about you Edomites in general is because this society that you've made has allowed them to enjoy all of their lusts. But once they can no longer enjoy their lusts, right, what are they going to need you for? Once they can no longer enjoy all the things that they enjoyed from day to day, this wicked society you made them, what are they going to need you for? Psalm chapter 15 verse 16, but unto the wicked Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee? When thou sawest a thief, then I consentest with him, and being partaker with a daughter. So you Edomites have always known the right way, right? You've always known the right way. Always. You hate instruction, though. And whenever you hear the right words, you cast it behind them. Oh, you know that you're not supposed to eat pork, right? Oh, yeah, whatever. Why does it taste so delicious then? Oh, yeah, whatever. You know you're not supposed to commit adultery, right? Oh, nah, whatever, mate. She don't love you no more, mate. Get over it, mate. Get over it, yeah? You know you're not supposed to steal, right? Well, they wasn't using it properly. They haven't got a high enough IQ to use that resources in their ground. So we're going to use it, mate. You know that you're in these people's land, right? Well, who said that any land's anyone's? Well, you did when you complain about people immigrating over to your country. You're saying that, aren't you? Oh, these people coming over, stealing all this and stealing all that. They're just attacking all the women. Mate, you Edomites are some of the biggest creeps, even on your own women. I was watching a video the other day of some attractive Edomite woman, which she was a stupid idiot anyway, right? And was really trying to live off a guy for free. And as soon as it started going bad for her, then she all of a sudden had a problem. But he set up all kind of cameras in the house, and we're just watching her, man. You Edomites are some of the biggest creeps going. Some of the biggest, like, peeping toms in the world, mate. Just a bunch of weirdos. Some of the biggest weirdos you Edomites are, man. You creepy. You Edomites are creeps, but you want to talk about how people are harming and doing things to women. Y'all are some of the main ones that do things to everyone. You know what I mean? You're some of the main ones that do things to everyone, mate. Oh, these people, these grooming gangs. Mate, you're the main groomers. What are you talking about, man? Oh, these black people and the the rap, oh man, they're rapping about blah blah blah. Mate, some of you Edomites are the main ones that know the words to these songs. I've been to one concert in my life, and I never bought the ticket. I've been to one concert once in my life. It was Eminem, a long ass time ago, right? A long time, like a decade plus ago, man. I've been to one concert once. And when I looked around, right, in the crowd, I mainly saw you Edomites. I never saw Jacob up in there. I saw Edomites in there jumping up and down, knowing the words to every song before Eminem got on stage. When there was all these other different rappers on there and that. All these other different Israelite rappers, so-called black men rappers. And then when Eminem came out, y'all was all spazzing. And then when he brought out Dr. Dre and all this, y'all was spazzing even worse. So don't try and make it like it's so-called black people that are the ones that just love rap. I've heard you Edomites saying all that, what's it called, man? What's that F2K and all that kind of stuff. Mate, when y'all don't even know that that's a real thing that's been going on between different rivals in Chicago. And you're really, when you're saying that, celebrating the death of some like 15-year-old teenager, some 15-year-old young man of a teen age, right? So don't try and make it like it's just us that are just the lovers of rap. Nah. Y'all are the main ones that buy music, you Edomites, man. I've only bought how many? Like, I bought one Snoop Dogg album one time back in the day and one Kanye West album back in the day. I've bought like 2 music albums in my life. I ain't really spent too much of my money on a celebrity's of his musician CD before, man. 2 albums. 2, literally 2. I remember exactly the names of the albums and everything. I only bought 2. So don't try it, man. You Edomites are the ones that love all the rap and all that. So don't try and make it like weird that. No, that's what you are. And then the same here it is though. You Edomites will quick time watch a Quentin Tarantino movie though, right? That's about murder. Is it only so-called black people that like Scarface, or does everyone like them kind of movies? And Godfather, Goodfellas, and all these movies, which are about criminals, by the way. They're about criminals. So don't try and make it like we're violent. Some of the main serial killers are you Edomites? So don't try it. Some of the main serial unalivers are you Edomites? So don't you dare try and make it like my people are the most aggressive people. You are. You've literally made weapons that can wipe out whole countries. So what are you talking about? And you've used weapons of that nature too. So how are we aggressive? How are we more aggressive than you? No, you are. No, you're aggressive, man. And then you want to try and talk about stats and all that. Yeah? Well, who runs the police force? If we ran the police force, I'm pretty sure most of y'all would be in jail as the higher percentage. But of course, if the police force is ran by the Israelites' main enemy on the earth, of course they're gonna be in prison at a higher percentage. Of course they're gonna find ways to make sure that they go to jail for crimes that when an Edomite does them, they don't go jail. In fact, they get let off. So don't try it, man. Don't even think about it. Verse 19, thou givest thy mouth to evil and thy tongue frame with deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son, always running around spreading rumors. Always being passive aggressive. But then if the person you're trying to be passive aggressive to makes it direct, now y'all bitch up, man. And when it comes time for you Edomites to try and really take it to Jacob, hey, don't say you weren't. Here's the warning right now, man. Here's the warning right now. Yeah, the warning's right here. We know you're going to reject the warning, but the warning's going to be done anyway, right? Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. So they shall fear the name of Yahweh from the west. They're going to fear the name of Yahweh in the west. They're going to fear it. When they hear Yahweh, they're going to start getting scared, man. Right? When they hear Yahweh, they're going to start getting scared. Oh, so you one of them. Oh, you one of them, yeah? They're talking all that Yahweh Shai stuff. They already tried it not long ago. They put on the news, Yahweh Shai is coming back. and tried to make out like it's some evil thing. That's the name of the Lord. Why would that be offensive that Yahweh Shai is coming back if you're an Israelite? If you're a Jew, if you're an Israelite, if you're from the house of Israel, from the house of Judah, why would it be bad that Yahweh Shai is coming back? That should be something to be celebrated. But they put it out there like it's a bad thing. Fear in the name of Yahweh, fear in the name of Yahweh Shai. From the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. They're going to fear the name of Yahweh all over the earth, man. And they're going to try and rise up against the Israelites like a flood, right? But the spirit of Yahweh is going to lift up a standard against him. So here's the warning. All that stuff that you're thinking about trying to do to the Israelites, if you really want to keep your kingdom, don't even think about it, right? All the evil that you've got in your mind towards the Israelites, don't even think about it. So that's the warning, right? But we know, according to prophecy, according to the scriptures, y'all are going to reject the warning anyway. You've already rejected it. Whatever. Yeah, right. We already know how you think. As for your enemies, you puff at them. What's he talking about? Low IQ, bugger. That's how y'all think. What's his IQ? What's his net worth? You don't know what he's talking about. Black monkeys. Y'all, that's how y'all think. That's how you think. Why didn't he go back to Africa? But then if we went back to Africa, you'd be sticking your big ugly noses in over there too anyway. You're telling us go back to Africa as if you went over in Africa yourself right now, you hypocrite. You're in Africa yourself right now. In fact, why does America care about what China's doing in its own country with all this AI stuff? Why do you care? They're in China minding their business, ain't they? So why do you care? Exactly. And that would be the same thing that would happen if we was to be in Africa, so-called, man. If we was all the so-called African Americans, Caribbeans, and that was to go back to Mama, as what you think's our homeland anyway, Mama Africa, and that which that ain't our homeland is Israel. If we was to go there, you'd be sticking your ugly noses in there anyway, and be finding a way to try and go over there. You'd be making forums and chat rooms, planning a way to try and go over there, man. But nah, I never thought they'd call our bluff and actually go over there. I wonder what they're planning. We're going to have to go over and spy over it because they might be seeking revenge. I don't think they'd just be over there minding their business. I think they're over there seeking revenge. We got to go over there and bother them. That's what you would do because you're demons. You can't help yourself. You're not able to help yourself, man. Right? So you already had the warning. Leave us alone because Yahweh's going to defend. But here's how you think though. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Because the way how you Edomites go by is like, if it bleeds, I can kill it. That's what mentality you think. Oh, do they bleed? Okay, well, I don't have nothing to fear from them then. Because I can find a way to take them out. And you're so arrogant that you actually believe that you can do that to Yahweh Shai as well. It's worth a try, innit? Worth a gamble. I mean, he ain't on earth now, is he? Okay, they're talking about he's gonna come back one day. Is he here now? No. So let's do it. Who cares? And if it just by any chance he does come back, let's make some weapons just in case he does come back. Because he died once. So why wouldn't he be able to die again? I mean, he died once, right? It's in the scriptures, right? They always blabbing about that in that Bible. He died once, so he'll die twice as far as I'm concerned. That's how you think. That's how you stupid idiots think, man. But that's your wickedness deceiving you. You're so wicked, it's deceived you. Your wickedness deceived you with China. I literally showed earlier the whole thing that they understood before whoever's was going to be president was decided, right? They knew what China's capable of doing in a good way and what they're capable of doing. They knew it all. They wrote it down and studied it. And yet they still was like, yeah, we got to do this tariff thing. And in that whole document thing, man, they're obsessed with China. I think the word China is in that document about definitely more than 300 times, man. It's in there more than 300 times, I believe. They're obsessed with him in that, man. But then they're also even talking about Russia, Venezuela, Iran, the People's Republic of China. I mean, yeah, the People's Republic of China. And they're talking about Korea in there as well. And they've even got things in there that mention about Africa too. Obsessed with everyone. sticking their nose in everyone's business, man. Because they don't want to give up the authority that they have over the children of Israel. They don't want to be in a world where they cannot tell us what to do. That's the main thing. Their main thing is their position that they have with us. Even with the China thing, they're really bothered about how it would mean how they can act with towards us, the Israelites. And we know this because of the scriptures. They want to possess Israel, whereas Yahweh was there. I read it in Ezekiel 35. They've been rejoicing over our inheritance, man. Verse 21. Such things did they imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. Right? You Edomites have been blinded by how wicked you are. You're so wicked, right, that you only thought about offense. Anyone that knows anything about fighting, yeah, mate. Once you like, and once you, if you, in order to be a good fighter, you can't just be thinking about what you're gonna do to them. Oh, so when I go in the ring, I'm just gonna jab him in his mouth, uppercut him one time, bap in his jaw, and he's over. No, that's what rookies think about when they fight. They're just assuming when they meet someone on the street that person can't fight. No, you should assume that they can. If you want to actually try and think of how a fighter thinks, actually assume that a person can fight. Don't lower their stats when in your mind, raise them up. So if he looks slow, imagine he's faster than he is. If he looks weak, imagine he's stronger than he is. But the way our Esau is, whatever, yeah, right, I can handle it. And even, okay, they can do this thing and that thing, but we're Edomites though. We're the so-called white man. We're the highest, we're the best. These people can't tell us anything. We've got the greatest military in the whole world. These people can't tell us anything, but we know in the script, right, 1 second, we know according to prophecy that they're going to hear about the reports of the other nations and they're going to start getting scared, man. They're going to get scared, right? Wait, let me see if I can find it. It says that the report of them, the king of Babylon, he's scared or something like that, man. I've got to find that scripture, man. Maybe it's in Jeremiah 49 or 51. The Esau's going to start hearing about what these other nations are really doing, and they're going to be like, "What? So we ain't the best? How can this be?" Let me read this first. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 16. Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, because Esau did a lot of terrible things. They did a whole bunch of wickedness. They've been able to make people scared of them at all in times past. But the thing what you don't understand is that people don't forget. Just like how you Edomites know you don't forget the wrong that people's done to you, other people don't forget the wrong that you've did to them neither. We're never going to forget the Atlantic slave trade. We're never forgetting it. We're always going to remember that, man. In fact, there's going to become an annual celebration of the day when Yahweh saved us from the place that we ended up as a result of the Atlantic slave trade. And we're going to celebrate the day that we were saved from that land, North America, and everywhere else that we were scattered as also results of the Atlantic slave trade, man. We're going to celebrate that day forever. We ain't going to forget it. And we're going to celebrate your Edomites' destruction too, no matter what color you are. So don't try and come with that, oh, it's color, their skin. Mate, you are the one that made that thing too. Your high IQ selves made that whole skin color talking point in the earth. You're the reason why this world thinks that people with brown skin are black. But then some other people with brown skin are brown. But then some other people with brown skin are Indian. But then some other people with a lighter brown skin, oh, they're just Chinese. But then, you know what I mean? Like, it's bugged out. But you made the world like that, though. That's your doing. Not ours. We never did that. You did. Also, in fact, no, I'm still in verse 16. All that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, that holdeth the height of the hill. And that's what you think you're the man on the hill, man. We hold the hill. You know what I mean? That's what you've got. You got that sound. That sound like somehow Benjamin would talk, man. Holdeth the height of the hill. Was Jeremiah from Benjamin? I think he wasn't it. I gotta check that, 1 second. Was Jeremiah from Benjamin? Cause the way how it was. Yeah, man. Hey, you see, that sounded like how Benjamin would talk, man. Hold off the height of the hill. If you say that with a Jamaican accent, man. I think there's actually a you know what? I think there's actually a thing where in Luke Cage where you had that character, man. What was his name, man? The Jamaican character, man. The Jamaican character in there. And he said something about the man on the hill. He said something about, oh, there's a man that lives on the top of the hill, but there's another man that lives at the bottom. But the man at the bottom of the hill, he don't care about the man at the top of the hill because he knows that at any point he could come up there and unalive him. Bushmaster, that was his name, man. There was the Benjamite character on Luke Cage, man, Bushmaster and that. And he mentioned something about the top of the hill actually. That's 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 kind of heavy, man. That's anyway. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 16, thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O that as well as in the clefts of the rocks, that holdeth the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from hence, saith Yahweh. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at the place thereof. They're gonna be like, sheesh. Like, have you ever seen have you ever seen someone get their ass whooped? Right? Like, have you ever seen really somebody get there? Like, you know what, man? When Terence Crawford, man, was fighting Errol Spence, man, I didn't really know who was gonna win that fight, right? But I kind of placed a lot or whatever. I cast a lot on that fight and I actually won, by the way. Well, not that that's really relevant. That money's gone or whatever now anyway. Money comes and goes. But, like, when I was watching that fight and I was seeing how Terence Crawford was able to punch Errol Spence in the head so hard from such a short distance without even really having to lean back too much, he was able to, from close range, bring his arm out and back in and crack him with them left hooks, them uppercuts and that. I was like, damn, he got messed up, man. And then I realized how good of a boxer Terence Crawford actually really is, man. He's a very good boxer. Like, he's excellent at boxing. And if he beats Canelo Alvarez, right, he might be one of the best boxers ever to be able to pull that off. Because when Canelo Alvarez fights a fighter that's naturally smaller than him, they're shook. That Charlo brother, where he was kind of in survivor mode for a lot of that fight, man. He didn't really come to try and really fight that fight like how his attitude is, because he's got a high level of like ego about him, man. And he's like on that always, the geezer's always angry all the time. Yet when he was in that fight, he kind of wasn't fighting like how his personality is, because he got humbled in that fight. And then you saw how it went for Amir Khan, right? But the reason why I'm saying all that anyway is because the way how when people see what happens to America, I'm like, sheesh, damn. Like, if you ever seen someone's face lumped up and you be like, woo, boy, damn. You know what I mean? Like that Friday thing when he gets hit with the uppercut and they're like, damn, you got knocked up. You know what I mean? That's what it's gonna be like when people see what happened to America. Like, yo, raw, damn. Like, people are gonna feel pain. It's gonna be like you're gonna feel like you got hit from seeing what happened to what's it called, man, America. I'm like, damn, that's that hiss, man. That damn. You know what I mean? They were like, boy, woo, boy, man. Somebody beat the brakes off that, man. You know what I mean? That's how it's gonna be for Babylon, man. For Esau in general, for Babylon, and then for Esau, people like, we're like, raw. I remember. Hey, so lucky. I remember I heard one of the brothers in the London camp say that when Moab be getting whooped and that, right? One of the elders from the London camp, he used to say that, like, it's funny. He used to say this is funny, but I remember this, man. He used to say, like, when Moab or something like that, or Ishmael are going to be getting whooped in the kingdom as punishment for their wickedness, they're going to, like, be looking up with a black eye or something like that. Can't remember exactly the way he say it, man, but he used to say they're going to look up and then they're going to see in the distance Esau getting whooped and be like, yeah, get him. And that's exactly how it's going to be, man. And it's hilarious. This don't bring no sorrow to my heart to think about you Edomites getting what's justice. It's not like, oh, man, the good Edomite, and there's going to be a story about the good Edomite that accidentally went into captivity And then he got freed out. And we realized, oh, sorry, Mr. Tavinsha. Sorry, Mr. Evans. We can't believe that a good Edomite was slipped into this captivity. There ain't going to be no 12 years of Edomite. You know what I mean? Where Edomite accidentally was meant to be free and was meant to be born under the new covenant, but we lost his paperwork. And then he ended up being treated like the rest of the bad Edomites. And then we had to find a way to free him and travel abroad to try and find him. Like what song of what that movie, man. That new movie with the guy from the Passion of the Christ and that where he goes in the hunt. Song of Praise, not Song of Praise. What's the movie called, man? The movie about the human trafficking thing and that. Where he goes on a long journey to save that one girl. There ain't gonna be no long journey on that to save no Edomite. Or Edomite was accidentally slipped through and he's now in the mines. Like there ain't gonna be no saving Private Ryan journey to save the one or two good Edomites. That's not gonna exist. People are gonna be hissing at how y'all got done dirty, man. Justly too. They're gonna be like, woo, man, woo. That's that hiss, man. When you see some, if you ever have you ever so lucky, man. I'm talking too fast. Like if you ever seen a car crash or something like that, or seen someone like get a real bad gash, like a cut or something like that, or an open wound. When you see it, you naturally hiss. You actually hiss. You go, woo. You do that. That is actually done. That's what is gonna happen with America, man. Babylon the Great. People are gonna hiss a little. They're gonna be like, whoa. I'm pretty sure people probably hissed when them towers went down, man. You know what I mean? They were like, woo, woo, boy, woo, woo. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna feel it, man. It's gonna be a spirit. They're gonna see it, man. And when they walk past if they go past in the time after America's been destroyed in the sea, they were like, whoa, man, what happened here? You know what I mean? People will be like, what the hell happened here, man? They're gonna hiss at that. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh, no man shall abide there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell in it. Ain't no man gonna dwell there. There ain't gonna be people that be like, okay, so the old landlords moved out, the old tenants moved out, so now we're gonna move in, rubbing their hands together like, nobody wants this? All right, I'll move in, squatters' rights. I'm gonna move into Babylon since nobody else wants it. I'm gonna move in squatters' rights and I'm gonna build it back up again. Because we know that in the past it used to be a great place. So we're gonna build it back up again, but we're gonna this time do it right according to the scriptures. That's not gonna happen. It's not allowed to. No son of man's gonna dwell there. That land's cursed forever. Right? That land's not allowed to have inhabitants on it again after it gets destroyed, man. It's not allowed to. That land is going to become a home to the birds, the animals, the flying, creeping things of the sky, man. Now, so luck here on the detour. Let me try and see if I can find that scripture that I was talking about, man, about how Esau is going to start hearing about what these other nations can do and start getting scared, man. They're going to be like, what? Like, what? So she telling me that we ain't the best. How is this happening? Where is that, man? It's something like at the noise of them, the king of Babylon is scared or something like that, man. If I can't find it, okay, so what do you have about Shem Yahushai? Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 43. The king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs of a woman in travail. And if you look at Mr. DJT's face recently, as of late, man, this guy don't look the same as he did about a couple of months ago, man. He don't look the same. His face don't look the same, man. He looks worried about something, in my opinion. He looks worried, man. He don't look as proud as he usually looks, to be honest with you. He looks faded more than he normally looks, man. The guy looks faded out a bit, man. He don't look as cocky as he normally looks. He's not, his face ain't as haughty as he usually has it, man. It ain't. Verse 45, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he have purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, which is The Chaldeans in this regard is America, which the Chaldean is like the wisest of a people, right? And the wisest of what's going on with Esau in general is going on in America, right? America's got the most highest, pretty much of how they want a society to be. Maybe not all of the highest technology, but how they expect a society to run is pretty much the American way. They got the abundance there. All the delicacies of the earth get brought there, as according to Revelation 18. We know that because of Revelation 18. We don't need to know it and have all 100% proof on earth. We know the scriptures say that, but then they're proofs on earth anyway, which is the reason why they fought that they could just do the tariffs thing and they'd be able to get away with everything. But the tariffs thing's making them not get a lot of the things that they need too. And the profits that people used to make from them, they're not getting them right now. And they're going to be the ones that back down first, which they already have. And that's why you had Apostle Tahar say, and Apostle Bahar say, Apostle Gabar Salakia say that Babylon flinched, man. And they did. They flinched their ass, man. And now everyone's like, oh, so you're not as bad as you say you are, huh? Oh, I see. So you was talking all that tough guy stuff. But actually, you ain't bad though, yeah? Yeah, what did they say? Paper tiger. Yeah? You're growling it off and that. But then actually, once a bit of heat and a bit of water starts when you start folding up, man. The corners start blunting. Them sharp corners start blunting on that paper tiger, man. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Because Babylon might start backing down and be like, we're good. And then Israel's going to be the one that starts charging them up anyway. That's what I've been taught. And that's what I'm going to stay believing, that it's going to be Israel that's going to bring the whole world into what's really supposed to go down, man. As a result of all you people touching the children of Israel, you should have kept your hands to yourself. You should have learned how to pick your own cotton. You like to do these little TikToks and say, and pick cotton on there and like, see, that's not so hard, is it? Right? Now try doing it with a black eye then. How about that? Try do it all day, forever, and not be doing it to try and build up your society, doing it to build up another person's, and then tell me it's okay, and be made to do it at the speed of somebody else, not according to your speed, and pick it once for over 10 seconds. No, faster. There's a whole field there. Hurry up. That was too slow. Hurry up, man. Now let's see how comfortable you are picking it. Being outside, Giza actually had the nerve to be outside for like 20 seconds, pick a cotton pod, right? Then turn to the camera and say, see, that wasn't so hard, was it? Black people did not build up America and you're not getting reparations. the nerve of these Edomites, man. But their wickedness have deceived them. Like that guy is gonna be made to pick cotton, man. More than that would be an excellent judgment, man. For okay, it's not that bad, is it? And just show him a whole 10 miles of cotton, man. And we're like, we want you picking all of this by the end of the night. The whole field. What? All 10 miles? Yeah. You said it's not a big deal, right? Pick that by yourself. And if it's not all picked and in bags, watch what happens. And we know it's not going to be all picked and in bags. So the judgment's going to come. And that's going to let you Edomites start to know real swift in the kingdom of heaven. Watch your mouth. That y'all all should have watched your mouth. That wouldn't even have to be physical yet. No one would have to get touched. That'd just be some hard labor. You Edomites don't have a clue that you should have just kept your hands to yourself, you know. And you still, even though I gave you the warning, according to Isaiah 59 and 19, all the things that you're thinking about trying to do to us, don't do it, you know. But you're still gonna, because Jacob's trouble has to be fulfilled. But I've gave you the warning. That's gonna bring forth your demise. Starting World War III, that's gonna bring forth your demise too. You can be given the warning. If you want to still stay in your power seat, don't go through World War III. Don't go through with trying to harm the Israelites. Don't go through with trying to give everyone the micro C hip, the MOTB. Stop all of that. But you're not going to, because Yahweh's going to make you do it. He's going to harden your heart to ignore all the warnings, because the pride of your heart has deceived you, thou that dwellest at the top of the rocks. that liveth at the height of the hill. It's your pride making you do that, man. That's your pride, right? Now, what was I just talking about a second ago? Where I said, oh, let me see if I can remember, man. There was a scripture that I was thinking of in my mind about something I said earlier. I can't even remember what the scripture was, man. And it was definitely being a good scripture to bring out, pertaining to these Edomites and how they just got all this pride going, man. The king of Babylon waxed feeble, and took hold of him, pangs of a woman in travail. Man, it's a lock here. I can't even remember what it was, the scripture that I was thinking of. But we know that you Edomites, man, you've got all this pride and you thought you were just going to rule forever. No, you're not, man. And I'm going, you know what? I'm going to end the lesson there, man. I can't even remember what that scripture was that I was thinking of in my mind. I'm going to end the lesson there. You Americans, man, you Babylonians, Esau, you thought you was going to rule forever. You've got all this pride, right? The same way how you're not able to deal with China right now in that regard. You're not going to be able to deal with us neither. It's going to look like it's going that way initially. But let me read, you know what? Let me read the prophecy, right? Because Jacob's trouble is definitely coming. Definitely. Jacob's trouble is going to happen. There's going to come a day where you Edomites are allowed to harm only the Israelites that Yahweh said. And some of those Israelites are going to be of the elect. You're going to be allowed to behead some of them. Revelation 20:4, it's going to happen. But anybody that's not allowed to go through that, they're not going to go through it. Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness? Alas, for that day is great, so there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So Jacob's going to have trouble, but he's going to be saved out of it. And what's going to happen when he's saved out of it, man? Right? What's going to happen when Jacob saved out of his troubles? Well, I'm going to read it for you, right? Jacob's trouble is going to happen, right? But he's going to be saved out of it. Isaiah chapter 1 verse, let me say it like this. I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1 straight away after I say this point, man. Jacob's trouble is going to happen, but he's going to be saved out of it. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So we're going to have Jacob's trouble. We're going to be saved out of it because Yahweh is going to have mercy on Jacob and he's going to choose Israel out of all the nations that exist on the earth. Yahweh is going to ultimately renew his own choice that he already did in the past by choosing us anyway. We already are chosen. We already are chosen, man. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So these people are going to have had Jacob, Israel as captives, right? Whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Jacob's trouble is going to happen. Yahweh is going to choose Israel because Jacob's going to be saved out of Jacob's trouble, right? They're going to rule over, they're going to have the people that had them as captives in captivity, and they're going to rule over the people that oppressed them. That sounds like a beautiful day to me. That sounds like a beautiful life. You'd almost, if you had the choice, be like, man, I want that for my story. I want that as a story. I want to be put into captivity just so that I can have the beautiful story of coming out of captivity and having my oppressor in captivity, man. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And you Edomites are not going to be showing no pride in that time, and you're going to be crying, right? You're going to be crying in that time. And on that, I'm going to say, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, Shalom.